Now, most of the times when we have a formula and then we're looking, they give us information. A lot of the times it's not, the formula is not like I. We don't have to be looking for A. Sometimes we're looking for I, or sometimes we're looking for P. Sometimes we're looking for the letters or the variables that are inside my equation, isolated. So I have to isolate for the letter that I am looking for. To do so, I have to rearrange the equation by doing what we call inverse operation. Okay? So I'm isolating for my unknown. So let's look at these examples. So for example 1, it's asking me to isolate for the letter P. So my first equation is A equals P plus I. How do I isolate for P? Bring the I over, right? So to bring the I over, the is minus equals, did I isolate for P? P by itself? Yes. Okay, so what I did here is what we call the opposite operation. My second formula, A equals 2P. How would I isolate for P? Divide both side by 2, right? Or you can think about it as just bring the 2 over as division. Doesn't matter which way you think. So A divided by 2 equals P. So remember, I'm doing opposite operation. So I have, my next one is A equals P squared. Square root, because the opposite of square is square root. So I square root both sides, get rid of the square. So P is equal to the square A. How about my last equation? Okay, so we're going to have to do this step by step. First thing you want to get rid of is that number or letter that's by itself, right? So you're going to bring that I over. It's going to become A minus I equals 2P squared. 2. So it's going to be divided by 2. And then you're going to do the square root. Now you're going to have to make sure that the square root covers your whole equation, right? Your whole, expression on the left side. So it's going to be, you see how long I made that square root? To purposely say that that 2 is also under the square root. Okay? If you write it like this, right? They don't mean the same thing. So you have to be careful how you're writing your square root. Okay? Are we good with that? Now, if I look at this equation, how do I solve for the letter B? What do you mean by remove the bracket?
2B minus 2A.
So you're expanding first. Can I just simply divide by 2? Right? I can get rid of that 2 first. Right? To get rid of that 2, I have to divide by 2. That would be my first step. So instead of expanding, because then it's going to be a little bit more work. And then bring the negative n over, it becomes plus n. So it's c over 2. It's just the c that's divided by 2, yes? C over 2, and then plus n. Are we good with that? How about for the second equation? Do I need the brackets? No, I can get rid of this bracket, so technically I don't need this. Okay. What do I want to get rid of first? So the negative n. So bring the negative n in first, right? So c plus n equals to b over 2. Then multiply the whole thing by 2, so that means I have to put the bracket. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions about this? Okay, next.
Square root.
Get rid of the square first. So I have to square root. So in this case, I'm just square rooting the c. Okay, then plus n. So it's going to be the square root of c by itself plus n. You see how now my plus n is outside the square root, right? Equals to b. What do you think we need to do for this one? Get rid of that 2 first, right? To get rid of that 2 first, I have to bring it over as a division. So I'm going to divide by 2 first. Then what do I do? Square root. I'm going to square root the whole c over 2. Then plus n, so I'm going to bring the negative n over. So that's going to become square root of c over 2 plus n. You see that plus n is out. Multiply the whole thing by 2. So in this case, I have to put brackets. Square root of c over 2 plus n. And then multiply the whole thing by 2 equals to b. So you have to be careful that you're doing reverse mass in this case, okay? And reverse opposite operation. Or not reverse, opposite operation. So how do you decide which one you move first? So here's how, if you're not 100% sure, I need you to pay attention to me for a second. So if you think about it this way, I give you a value. So if I give you a value for b and n, how do you evaluate this? How do you actually do, what do you do first? So I plug in the values. What do I do first? So what's the first thing I do? Okay, I plugged in the value. What do I do after that? So if I have 10 here and I have 7 here, okay?
So 10 divided by 2.
So I do this first, right?
Yes.
I do b divided by 2 first, okay? Then
Then minus n from n.
then I subtract the n. So that's my second step, right?
Yes.
Bed mass. I'm following bed mass. I do the brackets first. Okay. After that, what do I do? The square. So that's my third step, right? Then
Multiply.
multiply by the 2, right? Good. Now, if you are to isolate, to retract, you're going to have to move backward. Okay? So your fourth step is going to be the first thing that you're going to get rid of. So it's going to be, you're going to get rid of that 2 first. Then you're going to get rid of the exponent. Then you're going to get rid of the negative n. Then you're going to get rid of that division by 2. Okay? So that's why it's called reverse bed mass. Okay? Because bed mass says you're going to have to do this, 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 this. Then when I'm isolating, I'm going backward. Does that make sense to all of you? Do you guys need whatever I just wrote right here? You're good?
C equals to, I know we all use our phones, but this is the actual formula. C equals to 5 times F minus 32 all over 9 is used. Determine a formula to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. So if you know the temperature in Fahrenheit, but you want to know what it is in Celsius, what do you do?
Divide by 9. Multiply by 9.
So you're going to isolate for F, okay? First thing is you multiply by 9. So 9C. Okay? Divide by 5, so that's 9 over 5C. And then plus 32. Equals to F. Yep. Easy? The area A of a circle with radius r is given by A equals pi r squared. Use the formula to determine the radius of a circular oil spill that covers an area of 5 kilometers squared. I have the area, so what am I solving for? The radius. So first I'm going to isolate for the radius. So how would you isolate for the radius? Divide by pi. And then square root. So if I'm looking for the radius, it's going to be the square root of 5 over pi, right? Because I know that the area is 5. And then what would be your radius? Make sure that you put in bracket. If you're putting it all together, you want this in bracket. Or do 5 over pi, then do the square root. 1.3, what's the unit? Kilometers. Okay? Therefore, the radius of the circular oil spill is 1.3 kilometer. Okay? So you know the area, you're looking for the radius, right?